just like waiting for a bus. A second Premier League success 50 years after their first, then along comes another immediately afterwards. In 2005 and 6, Chelsea's record was only just short of the total achieved the year before. In fact, had it not been for ringing the changes to give some more squad players a first-team outing, there might well have been a similar points total rather than 4 adrift of 2004-05. The Blues were smartly away, despite having to wait until the death to win at Wigan Athletic, but recorded a Premier League record of 6 consecutive clean sheets. After 11 games, only 2 points dropped in a draw at Everton, and the pattern was largely set from then on. First defeat away to Manchester United on the 6th of November, ending an impressive run of 40 unbeaten league matches, was followed crucially with 10 straight wins, yet another club record. In the last third of the season, not such a straightforward performance, but any remote possibility of a drastic slip were erased when revenge was achieved in the return with Manchester United on the 29th of April. Bearing in mind there had been disappointments all round in various cup competitions, this was a significant moment. Chelsea rose to the occasion with a 3-0 victory which confirmed them as retaining champions. Jose Mourinho, despite not being given any of the monthly honours, was declared manager of the season. 25 different players were called upon during the Premiership season, the days when a small squad would be capable of clearing the title unaided long gone. No ever-present members of the squad, but John Terry only missed the last 2 through injury, and Frank Lampard just 3 after recording a Premier League record of 164 consecutive appearances. He was also top scorer with 16 goals, a more than creditable achievement for a midfield player. If there was a problem area at Stamford Bridge, it was trying to field both Didier Drogba and Hernan Crespo in the same team. International strikers in their own right, it was not the same trying to dovetail the pair together in Chelsea colours. Even so, Drogba managed 12 goals from 29 and Crespo 10 from 30. So, for the second year running, Chelsea were worthy Premier League champions. Thus, Manchester United had to be content with second place. Ruud van Nistelrooy hit 21 goals but was probably not as potent a force as in earlier times, despite achieving his 150th goal in all games for the club, lifting him to the 8th overall in the club's history. Old Trafford's ground improvements also meant a late season topping up to over 70,000 and another record for the competition. Talking of pieces of 8, Gary Neville with his 500th game pushed himself to 8th in the list of United appearances. Their consolation prize was the not inconsiderable lifting of the Carling Cup. Liverpool's third place seemed a likely destiny in the last half of the season after a ponderous start, which at one time had them in the lower half of the table. But they finished strongly enough with 9 consecutive wins. They played their part in the above-average FA Cup, emerging as winners in the shootout with West Ham United. On the downside, there was European failure as they were unable to retain the trophy won in the previous season. Fourth place was pretty low by Arsenal standards in recent years, third in 96-97 being the poorest. However, they did have Thierry Henry as top scorer in the league with 27 goals, and in the process establishing himself as the highest overall goal scorer in the club's history, plus the leading one in the league alone. They also came within a whisker of success in the Champions League final, but the early handicap of losing their goalkeeper to a dismissal proved too much. But they stretched Barcelona all the way until the last quarter of an hour, the defence again showing its remarkable resilience. So it was the end of an era, with the club moving house to a new headquarters and leaving Highbury after 92 years. Tottenham Hotspur had fancied fourth place themselves until the mystery of pre-match illness hit them before the last match of the season, when they'd seemed stuck on that number since December. In contrast, Blackburn Rovers' slow start had a much improved second half of the season to finish 5th. Newcastle United's final position of 7th had seemed most unlikely, but stability was restored when a change of management occurred. Bolton Wanderers had threatened to do even better, but 5 successive defeats late in the season robbed them, though they acquitted themselves well in their first UEFA Cup experience as European newcomers. Charlton Athletic won their first 4 and never again managed 2 in succession. Long-serving manager Alan Kirbishley decided at the end of the season that it was time to move to pastures new. while Middlesbrough's zenith was achieved when they gave Chelsea their biggest defeat of the season 3-0 at the Riverside in mid-February. Borough also played their best football in the UEFA Cup and reached the final after some stirring comebacks in earlier ties. In the league alone, they used 37 different players, and with the departure of manager Steve McClaren to assume the role as England's number one, the club appointed player Gareth Southgate to take the reins. Manchester City won only one of their last 10. Aston Villa managed just 2 consecutive wins in November, their other victories being isolated, but Portsmouth made the great escape, having at one time appeared firm favourites for the drop. In the end, it was Midland pairing of Birmingham City and West Bromwich Albion who failed to hold on to their status. Birmingham's real problems were the early season, with 1 win in 12, and Albion scraped only 4 points from their last 13. For their part, Sunderland appeared doomed from the onset. Only 3 wins overall, their first at home near the end of the season. So the giants of Birmingham City, West Bromwich Albion and Sunderland all went down to the Championship. And that's how it happened in the Premier League of 2005-2006.
Finding Smith for Thomas, charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the end.